We now have less than 1 month to go before we're really into the thick of this Republican presidential primary. The first debate is actually coming August 23rd. That's just weeks away. And we have a pretty good idea at this point of who is going to be there, or at least who could be there. 7 candidates have now met the qualifications for a spot on the stage. The debate is going to be taking place in Milwaukee. But that also means that about half of the Republicans who are currently running can't yet be there. And then you have one who insists still that he will not be there. Donald Trump bleated in the last day, let them debate so I can see who I might consider for vice president, which is annoying on one level. It's probably most annoying to people who like Carrie Lake, who are like, wait, what are you talking about? You can't choose one of them. What am I living at Mar-a-Lago for? But anyway, there are standards to qualify for the debate. Not like ethical standards or intellectual standards, but there's some fundraising standards and also polling. You need to poll at least 1% in 3 high quality national polls or a mix of national and early state polls. And you have to have a minimum of 40,000 donors with 200 or more in 20 different states. That means right now it could be Trump, even though it's not gonna be, he says, DeSantis, Haley, Ramaswamy, Christie, Scott, Doug Burgum, who I'm reading here is North Dakota's governor. I'm fairly sure I've never heard that name before. But that does mean that at this point, Mike Pence, Asa Hutchinson, Will Hurd, and Mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez have not yet been able to get a spot on the stage. And like we said, Trump might not be there. What are you expecting to come out of this first debate, Yaz, which is just a few weeks away?
Who cares? Who's watching this Republican debate? Like, we know that Trump doesn't have to be there, first of all, right? He's already polling way higher than anybody else in that field, way higher than DeSantis, and way higher than Ramaswamy. So he doesn't need to be there. And like we already know, his base doesn't actually care about what he says in the debates or what he doesn't say. What he doesn't say is he never offers any kind of actual policies or ideas on how to fix whatever issues he thinks there are. He doesn't ever offer any of that, right? And then the things that he does say are the same things that he's been saying for years on his campaign trail and during his rallies while he was even the president. He was still holding all these rallies. He has nothing new to say, and he knows that. And even like some of his supporters were saying, he didn't really say anything new. Like it's the same old tired catchphrases that he kind of peddles out whenever he needs like a good visual of an audience cheering. So I have zero expectations of this. Who cares?
Look, there's certainly some polling data to bear that out. There's a whole bunch of different polls of where he beats DeSantis that you would think would have been DeSantis' strong suit. But I want to jump to graphic 4. This is amazing. In a head-to-head contest with DeSantis, Mr. Trump still received 22% among voters who believed he has committed serious federal crimes, a greater share than the 17% that Mr. DeSantis earned from the entire GOP electorate. So people who think, oh no, he committed serious crimes and I want him over DeSantis. That is amazing. I don't know what you say on a debate stage to swing those people, but DeSantis is gonna have his chance. You are 100% right that he does not need to go to the debate. That's totally true. He doesn't need to, except doesn't he kind of need to? I mean, not to get through the primary and be the nominee necessarily, although if he wanted to show a little bit of testicular fortitude, he could show up and end this thing outright. He could go there, he could utterly mock Ron DeSantis until he cries/pees himself on stage, and then the primary would be over. He could do that, he's not gonna do that because he doesn't have the balls to do that. But I'm not even talking about that. Like him becoming the nominee is not really in question at this point, but him winning the general election still very much is in question. If he were a person capable of rational thought or thinking ahead, he would start to repair a little bit of the damage that he has clearly done over time to his chances of winning national elections. He still needs to convince people to vote for him. He wasn't able to do it in 2020. He didn't get the majority of the vote in 2016. So he doesn't need to show up to get the nomination. But to win, he might well need to show up as part of a multi-pronged effort to actually win people over. He's not gonna do that. I question whether he could do that, but
That was a big if, wasn't it? If he has the mental fortitude to, go out there and issue a coherent thought or a coherent idea or solution or anything like that. I don't think he does, and he never really has, right? So I agree with you. I take your point, but that's a big if.
A big ol' if.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.